Good morning, good morning, good morning. One of the nice things about live streaming is it has a timer so it makes sure I start on time, whether I'm ready or not. So I just want to, before we get started, make a note that I am aware that the live stream is buffering a bit, so there's a little bit of a delay happening. Everything is hardwired into the Ethernet, so that is just a function of so many people using the internet. So we're just going to roll with it. So good morning. We're going to get started with our first two community songs. Here we go.
Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, 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 I used to think that I had to. Used to think that I should. Instead, the scripture it told me, yeah, that I had to be good. But now I love 'cause I want to. Love 'cause I am free. Guided by the Spirit. Oh Lord, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, I don't need any prodding. I don't need any law. I want to sing with all my heart. God is my all and all and all. I let go of my burden. Loving God has made me free. Guided by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, I thought it was my duty. Thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed that loving God would be hard. But loving God is easy. Loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. Thank God for my freedom, oh Lord. The Spirit of God is oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. 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 Yes, it is. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Om. Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Peace inside my heart, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my heart, God and only God I live to see. Peace inside my heart, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my heart, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Peace inside the earth, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside the earth, God and only God I live to see. Peace inside the earth, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside the earth, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om.
This morning is an exercise in how many different things can I do and not lose track. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. And I want to welcome our folks in the room. Yahoo! We are growing steadily with our in-person folks. So my name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. I want to remind us of who we are and share with you, our guests, who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, to one another, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures, and we intentionally promote our community and our teachings. And one of the ways that we demonstrate our inclusivity is through our inclusion candle lighting ritual that we do every Sunday morning. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion.
Integrity is one of their values as well. And part of the definition that they gave for integrity was, we are clear in our promises and expectations. We do what we say we will do. So integrity really means say what you mean and mean what you say. So let's take a breath together and align ourselves with that integrity of the universe, that order, that balance, that beauty, that truth, that wholeness, that harmony, that goodness. And as we do, as we align ourselves with that, we remember that we are that. We are one with that one, created by it, living in it, as it. And in that realization, I know that we come together this moment to expand our awareness of this holy, holy uprising that we are exploring this month, and knowing that all is encompassed in that oneness that is the universe, that is what we call God or spirit or source. It is all encompassed in everything. Even things we think are out of alignment with it, they are appearing because we don't recognize that integrity. We don't recognize that spirit. And so as we align ourselves with it, we are inviting more of that realization of heaven on earth to be made manifest by means of us. And so I know that Rev Rafe is blessed in the words that he has for us this morning. And I know that our musicians are blessing us with their talent, with their gifts, and that all of the folks technically making sure that this service is coming into being are blessed by that service and by that realization of oneness that we are experiencing in this moment. And so we incorporate and encompass not only this community, but we reach out in our consciousness, which is limitless, into the realization of peace and harmony for all on our beloved planet. And we can think of so many places where that does not appear to be the truth. And so as we recognize and realize that at the center of it all, there is peace, there is harmony, there is wholeness, we allow it to be made manifest. And so I'm grateful for this realization, for this good that we are bringing into manifestation in this moment. As I release my word into the law of life itself, knowing that the law says yes, knowing that the law brings this into perfect manifestation. And we affirm this truth together as we say, and so it is. And so now we will do our morning affirmation. And our affirmation, I'm going to say it once, and then you will say it with me. I confidently tell my problems how big my God is. I confidently tell my problems how big my God is. And so it is.
I'm the monster in the closet, and I'm lurking about, and I'm bound to get under the bed. I can hide in your coat, I can get at your throat, but I'm really only in my head. Yo, I'm a fear, I'm a curse with no sense of worth. I can eat up the whole planet Earth. I'll be bad, I'll be mean, I will yell, I will scream, but I'd really rather eat ice cream. Angels, let me tell you about angels. You find them everywhere it changes, though they take a little practice for to see. Monsters, angels ride them bareback. It's their nature, and a natural fact is they're really you and me. Well, I'm a tiger from the jungle, and the fly on his back, and the antelope between his teeth. I'm an eagle in flight, I'm the dark of the night, I'm a beautiful saint and a thief. We're all rainbow at dawn, a cool picture we've drawn that we've colored with every paint. We're all this and all that, as a matter of fact, there really is nothing we ain't. I am thunder and lightning, awesome and frightening, a hurricane and worse. We are the wind in the trees, a cool summer breeze, the universe. I am molecules and atoms, photons and protons, everything is part of me. I can think, I can dream, I can wait in the stream and imagine all the things to be. I'll be light, I'll be dark, I can walk in the park, I can run through all space and time. I'm a thought, I'm a word, a song yet to be heard, a mystery in this simple rhyme. I am love, hate, and don't care, asleep and aware, a blessing of the earth. We are so much more than we see. Creativity, the universe. Creativity, the universe. The universe. Thank you.
A little bit of silliness helps. So it is not lost on me that today's talk title is This Too Is God, while the internet is buffering like crazy for some reason today. So this too is God. Let's take a breath together. The preparation for this talk has just been delightful because it took me back to a time on my front deck in Rio Neto where I had managed to orchestrate being fired from my job right before I was to have both knees replaced in succession. Now, the free time was great, but how was I now going to pay for this? And all these things are running around in my head, and I'm sitting on my front deck. And there was this internal laughter that said, so do you believe it's all God or not, dude? Which is it? I was like, shut up. But if it's all God, it's all God. And I think it's a topic that deserves a little bit of levity because some of the things that we are challenged to see God in aren't always the easiest things. I'm reminded of the story of the farmer who had an old horse and he was tilling his field. And the horse escaped. And his neighbors were sympathetic. And they were like, wow, that's really bad luck. And he's like, bad luck, good luck, who's to say? And a week later, the horse returned with a whole herd of wild horses. And everybody was celebrating. Wow, what good luck. And he's like, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? And his son, while he was attempting to tame those wild horses that his old horse brought back, suffered an injury and broke his leg. And everybody's like, oh my God, such bad luck. And he's like, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? And then some weeks later, while his son was recovering, the army comes through, tagging all of the male children to go to war. His son has a broken leg, so he's passed over. And everybody's like, wow, that was really good luck. And he's like, good luck, bad luck, who's to say? And we can apply that same story to all of these places where we want to see something other than God. Because if it's all God, it's all God, and it all works out. And there is no good luck, bad luck. There's just God. God. God orchestrating God. This morning, if you had cereal and you poured milk on it, it was God pouring God onto God, having God for breakfast. Now that seems a little odd to wrap our heads around. But if it's all God, then that must be the truth of it, yes? So, this is the first levity slide. Okay, let me slide over here so I'm on screen with the live streamers. This really, how often do we attribute God to that force outside of us that is doing things to us, right? Well, the sky is also God, and you are also God, and the cliff that you're getting bounced off of, also God. The thing that catches you, also God, right? I actually have this hanging in my office upstairs because it just makes me laugh, and it reminds me. And so, we're going to go back just to the camera now, Del. Thank you. So as we are going through this process, it is not a process of adding God. This process of getting to an understanding that it's all God is about removing things. It is about removing any idea or any limitation of a God that is in form. A God that is a male. A God that lives in the clouds. All of those are limitations that we have been taught. I want to read you something from The Science of Mind, 1938 edition. And I'm going to read this in gender-neutral terms. We do not take what we wish, but we do attract to ourselves that which is like our thought. People must become more if they wish to draw a greater good into their life. Did you catch that? People must become more if they wish to draw a greater good into their life. We need not labor under the delusion that all we have to do is say that everything is ours. This is true in reality, capital R, but in fact, it is only as true as we make it. We provide the mold of for the creative law, and unless the mold we provide is increased, substance cannot increase in our experience. For mental science does not promise anything that will do away with the necessity of complying with law. We spend far too much time in spiritual mind treatment for stuff. Yep, I said it. I must say it again. We spend far too much time in spiritual mind treatment trying to manifest stuff in form. We have literally materialized God. And in so doing, we have limited our experience of God to our imagination. Ernest Holmes also says in that same book that the very consciousness that frees us enslaves us. What enslaves us is our limited use of it. We must become more if we wish to draw a greater good. What we must become more of is what we actually are, which is God stuff. We use it more efficiently as we become more aware of what it is in us. And here's the tricky part. Becoming aware of what it is requires us to let go of every idea that we have of what it is. How do we do that? How do I imagine what God is while letting go of all of the limited ideas I have of what God is? Because that's really what this lesson is calling us to do. To let go of every idea that we have about what God is. You know, in the Old Testament, it was forbidden. It was absolutely forbidden to do any painting or any art that depicted God. Why? Because they knew it limited God. Right? And as beautiful as the Sistine Chapel is, humanity continues to suffer under the illusion that that is God. And if we notice in most of the Western art, God is a well-muscled older white guy who lives in the clouds. Really? That's God? No. No, just no. If the highest idea we have of God is an old white guy who lives in the clouds and occasionally goes off his meds and beats up his creation, the situation is worse than we thought. Right? That is our idea of God, and I submit to you, while I cannot prove it, I submit that probably sort of somehow that image was projected by a white guy. I'm just saying. It kind of could have rolled out that way. And what if God is more than that? What if God literally cannot be pictured? What if it's impossible for us to have a true picture in our mind of what God is? What if knowing what God is an experience? When we talk about entering the silence, most of us relate to that as an absence of physical auditory noise. But what about the noise of our thoughts? What about all of the chaos in our mind? Because if we are to know God, we have to find a way to quiet even that. And I submit to you that that means letting go of everything in physical form. It means letting go of our idea of abundance. It means letting go of our idea of intelligence. It means letting go of our idea of affluence. Because every idea I have limits me. And yet I'm in this teaching philosophy that tells me that my imagination is my creative power. What's a body to do? Right? And what I submit to you is that you recognize there's that and something else. And just be open to the something else. Too many times we pray for peace. God does not give us peace. God is peace. We pray for answers. God doesn't give us answers. God is the answer. Not quite there yet, Dale. That's all good. It's all good. God doesn't love us the way we think of somebody loving somebody. God is love. God is that thing that we experience. And we have to get past this idea that God is anywhere outside of us, that eliminates us from it, that separates us from it. We literally have to get, here's levity slide number 2, to that place where Jesus knew that he was God. And when did he realize he was God? Well, he was praying, and suddenly he realized he was talking to himself. Go back to the camera. Can we get to the place where we realize that we are talking to God all the time? Just ignore that slide behind me, folks. Nothing I can do to back it up right now. When you're having a conversation with another human being, will you allow yourself the expanse in consciousness to be so fully present that you understand at some level beyond your human understanding that God is having a conversation with God? To stop getting lost in the content of the conversation and to immerse yourself in the experience of the conversation. That in those heated moments where you're having a conversation with someone that you view as a political adversary, will you stop arguing long enough to feel the presence of God in each of you? Beyond the behavior, beyond everything that makes you go, there is no way God is a part of this. To know that technically you're right. God is not a part of it. God is all of it. Not a part of it. All of it. All of everything that makes you uncomfortable. This too is God. All that makes you feel oppressed. This too is God. All that breaks your heart at the inhumanity of human beings. This too is God. See, our absence of awareness does not create an absence of God. It's simply a demonstration of our lack of awareness. And the only thing I know of, people, that heals a lack of awareness is awareness. I would love, Pythagoras had a theorem. I wish I had one for you. I wish I had a theorem that, this plus this plus this plus this, and then you divide it by this, and you calculate it all out, and you draw a bunch of diagrams, and wha-bam! But it's not that complicated. If you want to experience God fully, then choose to be fully God. Say that again. If you want to fully experience God, fully be God. We must become more if we wish to draw a greater good into our life. You already are everything you need. You already are everything you could imagine and so much more. Do you want to experience stuff? Or do you want to experience God? Because there's so much more. And what I know is in those moments where I just experience God, there is nothing in form that I need. Nothing. In those moments, nothing in this planetary realm means anything. In those moments. And I have to believe that what created me, that what lives in me, that what surrounds me is taking care of itself as me. So my idea, even, and this is where I've been challenged all week, so even my idea that I need to create something is based in some concept of lack. And what if I even let go of that? What if I even let go of the something that I need to create and just be? Just listen for those divine nudges that guide my beingness and allow my beingness to guide my doingness, and trust that that will bring about everything I need in this physical realm. What if I put the horse before the cart and follow that instead of me trying to dictate to this infinite being what it needs to do? And so that's the invitation this morning. In John, in the Bible, John chapter 7, because this is not new. There's metaphysics in the Bible, folks. Jesus acknowledged that there is a life force flowing through everything, and that the physical form isn't it. In John chapter 7, verse 24, when he says, "Judge not according to the appearance." Judge not according to the appearance. And what he's talking about in that particular part is that we are the thing we're looking for. We already are. Don't get stuck in the form. Free yourself from the experience. Allow yourself to be more than you know you can be. Surprise yourself by letting go. So I challenge you this week, instead of spending the week trying to manifest anything, spend the week letting go of all of the ideas that you have to manifest, and allow what is in you to manifest itself as you. I dare you. Let's take this into prayer. And so I recognize this one infinite, ever-present allness. In this moment, I choose to call it God, the formless, the changeless, the one everything, the one perfect love, perfect peace, infinite intelligence, the very order, the very abundance, the very intelligence of creation itself, the orderly process of creation, the evolution of science proving the existence of itself. I am that. I am surrounded by that. I am infused with that. I interact with that in every relationship. Any statement beyond I am a limitation. And so in this moment, I simply speak into realization I am. I am. I am. And I allow myself to release any definitive ideas, any limitation. And I allow myself to be informed from the inside out, from the outside in, from every corner of this universe. The truth that I am. I allow myself to experience God in every moment, in every breath, in every being. God and only God. I let that be. And as I anchor into that intention, into that realization, I feel the joy of God, recognizing God rise up within me. This is the holy uprising. God rising up within God. God meeting God in the grocery store. God and only God. What a glorious hallelujah. And so knowing it's already done, feeling its presence, I let go. And truly let God be God. I take my hands off. I take my limited thoughts off. And I just let go. Free falling. I invite you to make this your own as we stay together. And so it is. God is playing technical tricks all over the place. It's a good thing. So this is our time of conscious giving. And I invite you, if you've been joining us on Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom, I wish I could explain buffering, but I cannot. But I know it has been happening today, and so I invite you to give generously, which will help us get better technology and deal with that issue. So, let's say our giving affirmation together. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. So for those of you in the room, just remind you that there is a basket on the table. They're on your way out. I want to thank each of you for coming. I want to invite any of you out there or in here who are interested in learning the technology so that we can expand our tech team. Please reach out. We definitely need to expand that team. Also need to teach folks how everything in the back end of it is set up even before we get here, so that we can begin to expand that, because I am going to take a vacation at some point, and somebody's going to have to know how to do this while I'm gone, if it's going to happen. To be in integrity, as Rev Lanny said, I have to even entertain the idea that while I'm on vacation, it might not happen. Because if somebody doesn't step up to learn it, then it just ain't going to happen, folks. Because I am going to take a vacation. A healthy me knows how to love you better. So I have to do that. All right. So I invite you, if you're in the room or wherever you are, if you want to stand, and let's do our benediction together. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called God. It is this thing called unlimited.
It is this thing called unlimited.
It is this thing called me.
It is this thing called me.
I know it. I feel it. I sense it. because I am it.
Because I am it.
And so it is.
So it is.
All right, musicians, let's sing out.
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to be passionate and